I want to talk about something that I'm very passionate about, which is, besides fashion, is education. I've been trying to teach my daughter how to read, and now she's 4 and now she learned it. But I've been teaching her how to read since she was 12 months, 1 year. Um, I really wanted to homeschool her, but she is just very energetic and very social that I feel I have to send her to a traditional school. But she had learned so much from me than me sending her to daycare. I have sent her to daycare, and pretty much she um, was able to do everything I taught her. I mean, even though they're teaching her, she already knew everything. By the time she was 2, she knew all her shapes, all her colors. She knew how to count to 10. She knew all her alphabets. So she was already, um, she pretty much knew everything. The only thing she didn't know how to read independently. And it's only now that she's able to grasp it. I try everything to get her to read. I read to her. Um, I got her DVDs. I did sign language with her. But like every child is different. So everybody learns at their own pace. So I'm glad that she's finally understanding it. So imagine if I decided to wait when she started school. Wow, you know. But that doesn't say she may not learn nothing. Okay, well, I'm talking about education because I just feel society puts so much pressure on parents now. It's a lot of pressure in terms of, sending your child to school, making sure they have a proper education because everything's changing at a very fast pace. And traditional schools are not preparing our kids for the global economy and for jobs. They're not. And we have to fill in the gaps, for what they're not doing. And, there's a lot of parents who are trying other methods. Some of them are homeschooling. Some of them are unschooling. Some of them are cyber schooling. Those who don't know what that is, okay? Homeschooling is when you are basically set a structured curriculum for your child, and you're not going with the traditional methods of the school, like sending your child to school. Cyber school is similar to the traditional school, but basically they're going to be taught by the teachers through the internet, online. So everything is being taught to your child all through the internet. That's cyber school. Unschooling is when you believe that the child is has the natural ability to want to learn. So there's no need for you to force a child to learn. If a child wants to learn, they're going to be curious and they're going to want to learn on their own. So you don't try to discipline them and tell them what to do and etc. and such. Basically, the child do whatever they want. How do I feel about those things? I just feel it doesn't matter as long as the child learns. I don't think any approach is better than one another. I think they all could work very well, but it depends on the type of child do you have. Sometimes unschooling would be the best thing for the child. I think that would have worked out for me. I really hated school. It didn't work out for me. It was very hard. When I started school, I was left-handed. I was forced to write on my right hand. And even though I'm a grown adult, those things still bother me up to now. Traditional schools, they don't how do I say it? It's like one size fit all. That's basically what traditional schools are. They don't allow you to be independent and to discover who you really are inside. You have to be somebody else. That's how I feel traditional schools are. Um, uh, uh, me sending my daughter to traditional school, she's very sociable. I don't think I like cyber school. I like the approach, but she's too young, and they don't there's very little interaction with the teachers in terms of one-on-one, seeing them face to face. It's pretty much email, calling them, and she's like 5 years old. I need somebody to be engaging, and I know it saves the city and the state and the counties lots of money if parents cyber school their kids. And maybe y'all prefer the traditional school methods, but let me tell you, they're gonna phase it out. I mean, probably in the next 10 or 20 years, they're not gonna be traditional schools no more. I'm assuming they probably will make them for the little children, maybe like 3 to 10 years old. But once they're like 11, they're pretty much gonna be home, going and doing their stuff on the internet. So that's why I want y'all to know that eventually there's not gonna be no more traditional schools. If you're in middle school and high school, cyber school is going to be the thing of the future, and it's growing at a fast pace. But I think they still need to work on it, and I think for like kindergarten all the way to 5th grade, my opinion, they're not prepared for the cyber schools, because they need discipline. You need discipline to make sure they're not playing other games on the internet. You know, they need to be supervised, and for parents that are working, that's going to be hard. You know, it's hard to spend that much time with your child because they're so young, and to make sure they are doing their work. So that's the problem I have with the cyber school thing, is that you have to basically be the teacher, because there's very little interactions between by the time they're 5 to 10 years old. So I think it's great when they're older, but not now. So I can't wait to send her to school this year. I mean, she's in pre-K right now, but that's not the same as kindergarten. So I just want y'all to know, yeah, it's basically that's it. I mean, there's going to be no more traditional schools. It's just shocking because, you know, those of us, we all went to traditional schools, and I know by 20 years, that's why I say it's so much pressure on parents, you know, to try to keep up with the technology, to make sure your child is prepared before they start school, because it's just moving so fast. But in the future, we're not going to have traditional schools. China, their middle class is growing very fast, and they're going to be like the global economy, you know, because traditional schools was really made to prepare people to work in factories, jobs, and now all our jobs are overseas. So, you know, why still keep with the methods of traditional schools? So, and there's a lot of also social issues like bullying, and, you know, then a lot of children are being labeled as autism and dyslexia and hypertension, hypertension disorder or whatever. So they need like a one-on-one approach, and it works for these type of kids. It works for kids to be home and get the one-on-one attention that traditional schools cannot offer. So I just want y'all to know and prepare y'all. If you're a parent, be prepared for this, because soon they're not gonna, in 20 years or maybe 10 years, maybe 10 years from now, I think by 10 years they're not gonna have traditional schools.